Oh no, Star Wars sisters, I don't feel so good. Uh, Disney is out bragging about ratings, which are really, really low. And we're going to get into exactly how bad this is for a train wreck like The Acolyte. But my gosh, the spin on this is even more ridiculous than what the actual numbers are. I couldn't have expected it to go this low. Disney's really, really in trouble. Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland have to be quaking in their boots at this point, freaking out. Oh my gosh, this is really bad. And this is before episode 3 reportedly is going to drop a bomb of wokeness on the show Star Wars, I believe, is never going to recover from. We'll get into all of this in just a moment. My name is John Delarose. I'm a #1 best-selling author and award-winning comic creator, and this is my science fiction series, The Saga of the Nano Templar. I have a trilogy here on Amazon. The first book is Justified, and if you like high-action adventure like Star Wars used to be, this is going to be a great replacement for The Acolyte for you. You'll really enjoy this. It's not some boring Jedi procedural with a bunch of diversity. It's just awesomeness. So I'll have this in the description below on Amazon. Please support the channel and alternatives to Star Wars. You will be very pleased. It's on ebook, print, and audio for your pleasure. Thank you so much for supporting our efforts. And make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here, guys. Really appreciate all the cool Star Wars fans coming in here that I've been interacting with over the last few days. You've been amazing. And let's get into this. Geez, can you imagine Disney saying that? We appreciate the fans rather than attacking the fans. They are going off on this 4.8 million views. And of course, this is just Disney reporting. We don't know what's true or what's not, because Disney always lies. But for the first couple of days, this is what they have, and they're claiming this is some kind of success. Now, you break this down into views per episode, and probably the first episode had a little more than the second. Like, let's be honest, it's kind of how it works. But if you just split it by episode, we're looking at 2.4 million views per episode. Now, Doctor Who, with Ncuti Gatwa, the black gay Doctor Who, premiered at 2.6 million views on the BBC. That's just in England, right? And if you think about that, or at least predominantly an English audience, if you think about just like how an American Star Wars thing is getting less views than Doctor Who on a premiere, that's nutty. Because Star Wars is so much bigger, the potential audience is so much bigger, and this has so much bigger of a budget too. It is an abject failure on every single level. Now, we saw a drop-off similarly with Doctor Who after the first episode that, it lost a large percentage of its audience already, and we're going to see the same with The Acolyte, because these numbers don't go up, especially with word of mouth of them being so bad. So while they're claiming this is some kind of success, and Disney's pretending confidence with this, as Cosmic News says, trying to project that, it's actually far worse than this. Now, Ahsoka's numbers when it came out last year were 14.8 million views on the first 5 days, and they're claiming that this is on track to beat Ahsoka. But again, views don't generally go up over the first 2 days; they go down. So even if it stayed exactly the same, it's going to track slightly lower. If it did 4.8 million views, days 3 and 4, and then half of that day 5. It's going to be slightly lower than Ahsoka's viewership already. So you've got something that's lower again. So every new release that Disney keeps coming out with for both Marvel and Star Wars keeps hitting new lows. And this is the lowest yet. This is absolutely crazy. It's also getting the lowest ratings yet from an audience, which is also absolutely crazy. So they know that they're in huge trouble, but they're pretending it doesn't exist, and they're pretending and trying to spin things because that's what Disney does on this level. Absolutely crazy. Now, if you look at the shill media, of course, let's go into Variety on this, because Cosmic Book News is a good site, but this is a different one. Here it is, the biggest Disney Plus launch of 2024, and this is how they've been ordered to spin it. And you see this on multiple articles across the mainstream media. Biggest Disney Plus launch of 2024. Biggest Disney Plus launch of 2024. Well, they compare it to 3 other shows that launched this year, which is Echo. Marvel's Echo was, of course, the lowest rated Marvel show ever. And, of course, people really didn't like that and really didn't watch that much. So that's a low bar. They compared it to X-Men 97. Now, again, X-Men 97 is a big spin where they keep saying it's a huge success. They keep saying that it's been highly rated, etc. But the actual numbers came out and showed that it really didn't move the needle. It didn't do that well. And so the ratings were very low for X-Men 97 across the board as well. And then finally, there was Star Wars The Bad Batch, which again, is just like a cartoon version of Star Wars. So you'd expect that this would do slightly better than that. That's it. That's all they're comparing it to. They're not saying it's a great one up there for all of the ratings. And if you look at like the Nielsen ratings for what's been doing well on Disney Plus, in the top 10 of streaming shows, there's only one thing on Disney Plus that is consistently up in the top 10. Do you know what it is? Because it's not Star Wars, it's not Marvel, it's not any of their new shows that are Disney Plus exclusives or anything like that. It's the movie Moana. Moana has been at the number 8 spot for Disney, and that's the only one up there. And guess what? They're not going out there saying this is the best Disney Plus show out there. They're making it another caveat thing. It's the best Disney Plus launch of 2024. That means the ratings are lower than Moana. That means their old movie from 2016, before this whole wokeness factor happened, is actually doing far better than Star Wars, and Disney's spinning this. That's not very good at all. Now let's get into this article and see exactly how they try to make this some sort of deal. Biggest series premiere of 2024, as they said. Exact first day viewership isn't available, of course. And by the way, when they compare Ahsoka, which they only released 5-day data on, and then this with 2-day data, they're doing this intentionally too to obfuscate numbers, because if you look at how you can't compare them apples to apples. That's the whole intention. Oh, this is 4.8 on 2 days. That's 14.8 on 5 days. So you're left guessing what the viewership is at this point. Now, I'm not sure how they got 4.8. Okay, so this is Ahsoka saying it averaged 2.8 million viewers per day and they're using, of course, the 5-day total to try to track that and try to, of course, make things look different, right? Very, very weird. 2.8 million a day, 2 million below the launch of the Acolyte. But that's actually not true, because if you look at the 2 days, 4.8 million. Oh, it's 1 day. It is a 1 day. Okay. So they're saying it's a 1-day deal. But you don't know exactly how that tracks, because that could have been 4.8 million on the first day, and then it dropped off, because that's usually what happens with these shows. And so this is something like, again, they're just like not comparing apples to apples intentionally in order to like obfuscate the numbers. So this is pretty interesting as it goes through all of this. And the real story, again, just shows up right here in the scores. Now, the media is also hailing this as the highest rated Rotten Tomatoes Star Wars show ever. Okay, well, yes, there it is on the media critics. But again, you look at the all critics and you go to the top critics that people actually trust. It's a lot lower than what it actually is. That means there's a big media shill campaign going on right here. And here we are, 26% audience score. Now, Disney is using this spin right here to claim that people are going out there and review bombing it. The racist, sexist bigots are out there review bombing. But look, 26% is really, really low. If there's like a problem and there's a review bomb and whatever, I mean, you're talking like the maybe the audience scores 50-50 at best on this, which is not a good look, again, because, you know, when you get into that 50% level, that means that only people who really care about the show are out there are reviewing it regardless. And so you're seeing something that's like a disgruntled audience on average anyway. But 26% is so low, it's absolutely crazy. And there's no way to really spin this because as much as you can say review bomb, review bomb, review bomb, it's pretty obvious just looking at the discourse all over the internet that most people were just bored with this show. I did a review of the first 2 episodes myself, if you want to go check that, and I found it very boring. It actually didn't really push the woke thing too much in the first 2 episodes. The what I'm told is in episode 3 that they start getting into the twins have 2 mommies, and they start getting into pronouns in episode 3 and 4. And they start pushing it on that level. The only thing that you see on the wokeness level is just like the casting, which is very intentionally devoid of white males. And you could see that. But that's every show these days. And I'm not pushing back and saying that's not that woke like a lot of YouTubers often do. That is wokeness. That is exactly what they're trying to push as an agenda. It's not diverse at all. It's quite the opposite of diversity. It's just one monochrome culture. But at the same time, they're not going into the crazy wokeness yet, which is going to be hitting this and is going to affect reviews and viewer numbers even further. Oh my gosh, this is a disaster for Disney. Like I said, they're at a lower number than the Doctor Who premiere, and there's no way that they should be there at this point. That's absolutely crazy for 2 episodes like that, Because again, Doctor Who's premiere with the first 2 episodes for their overnight ratings, we're at about 5 million. And that's on the BBC and not Disney. So this is a big, big failure. And anybody who's saying otherwise is just a media shill trying to get access to Disney. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you grab my book, Justified Saga of the Nano Templar, and its sequels on Amazon. We'll be back soon.